independent hoe, I'm all about my businesses. I consistently continue to bring energy and know that keep it popping like I'm full of electricity. Try to hold me out, I wish you would have the audacity. Take a rap laxative, now I'm shitting on the industry. Self-made not a title, cause it's my identity. And wear it on my skin like it's a part of my ethnicity. Mary keep on blowing like instruments in the symphony. They keep a player buzzing like Twitter when you mention me. Being 100's a everyday living tendency. And ain't faced by hating, it makes me increase my intensity.
Guess who's Bizak? DFW all on my clothes. You know where it is and where to go. One man, 4,000 flavor of DFW sports. Your super fan from the DFW land. Coming back at y'all again. We just did the live kickback stream of the Mavs against the Charlotte Hornets as the Mavs do come through with the victory. Coming through, big night for Moses Brown up in there as he got a double-double, 20 and 11 up in there as I was on the live saying, bruh, that guy right there really deserves the game ball. Your dude played lights out today. Before anything, like, subscribe, hit that notification chime for your boy. One time we go up for all DFW sports at all times. Giving the Mavs a little love coming through as they get a win and try to stay up afloat until they can get reinforcements to come back in. Go over a little video reaction, what we want to see, what Brian Schottenheimer talked about at the Combine today. So go over that, see what he was talking about, and see what we feel about the question that's asked and how he answered them, seeing how we going about that. But let's jump into it, man. The Mavericks come through and get their victory. We needed that. Stop this losing streak. That's something that the Mavericks needed to do. Like I said, big night for Moses Brown, but I mean Kyrie, he really sat back and played it cool for most of the first half. Charlotte tried to do their best by basically keeping the ball out of his hands, but you know, Kyrie was still Kyrie. I called him Mr. Not on my watch tonight because he was like, nah, not on my watch. We're not going out like that. We're gonna get this victory by all means necessary. And in the second half, damn sure in the fourth quarter, Kyrie came alive and he made things happen as he became the leading scorer. He gave you 25 points, was plus 20 in that category, got 9 rebounds. How many assists? 5 assists. So Kyrie did a lot, and he got a couple of blocks with a couple of steals. Kyrie really did everything tonight. Not on my watch tonight, but game ball does go to Moses Brown. 20 points, 11 rebounds. He had 3 steals along with 2 blocks as well. Your man played great basketball that was well needed coming in, forcing the paint. Like I said, you just got to hold firm until you can get the cavalry to come back. Klay Thompson in the second half, he ended up giving you some great contribution offensively, gave you 18 points, but Najee Marshall only with 3 points. Come on, man. You got to get more from you right there. Dante Exum gave you a good couple 12 points. That was like early in the first half, and he really didn't do more after that, but his 12 points was needed. Jaden Harden looked like he's starting to fall out of the rotation a little bit. Dwight Powell gave you 6. Max Prime Christie gave you 8 points, but he kind of did everything else as well. He gave you some rebounds, gave you some assists, gave you a steal as well. Looking at the whole total team stats going up in here, Mavericks did shoot 41%. I mean, both teams offensively, like I said, shot the same except for the three-point ball, but the Mavericks weren't that good from behind the arc as they were 30%, but hit 11 threes. That kind of gave them a little bit of separation. They were 12 of 16 from the free throw line. Could have hit a little bit more to put the game out of reach more. Another game that they found a way to win, and they were thoroughly out-rebounded. As you see right there, thoroughly out-rebounded right there. Assist-wise, they still got enough good ball movement, but the total difference, Moses Brown double-double and the Mavericks getting 12 steals, that was by far the reason the Mavericks won the game tonight. Great team effort. When you get some steals, when you're getting steals, everybody's playing the passing lanes and stuff like that. Everybody's hands is active. Everybody's being aware. You kept Charlotte. You kept a team that is injured without their best players, and you kept them under 100 points. That's something that was supposed to be done. So great props. Like I said, the night goes to Moses Brown getting his double-double, as well as Kyrie coming alive in the fourth quarter with Klay Thompson coming to help as well. But 12 steals, that's something that we will take to the bank. Now, with you being undersized, you're still giving up, the points in the paint. We were getting, took to school right there. But outside of that, Mavericks still battled, still did their thing. They had that 11-point lead, it vanished, had to play from behind, but give the Mavericks credit. They're just not quitting. They're not, they're not going away. Mavericks not going away, man. And like I said, as long as they play 500 or better, man, they all right. They're going to be all right. Give me the full standings right now. Phoenix did lose. So like I said, bro, yeah, you had 16 games. That's 4.5 games Phoenix back right there of just the playing. So you got that little wiggle room you got right there. 4.5 games of wiggle room right there. You're going to see Sacramento. You got 2 games with the Milwaukee Bucks. A few games you got that are going to be tough, including Memphis after that March 6th deadline about Anthony Davis. So, but you look at it at the same token, bro, at the same breath, you're 1 game out of the 6th seed. You see what I'm saying? People trying to get on Mavericks' head talking about, oh, y'all wishful thinking, talking about when y'all get healthy and all that type of stuff. It's not going to happen for y'all. Y'all not going to make it. But hold on, bro. Mavericks just 1 game out of the 6th seed. And like I said, they got a 4.5 game cushion from not making the play-in. So long as they can play 500 or better, stay up afloat, they're going to be all right. They're going to be all right. And I look forward to it. Like I said, big victory tonight goes to Moses Brown for sure, but give credit to the Mavericks defense. 12 steals, that's killer right there. That's my biggest takeaway. 12 steals, Kyrie coming up big in the 4th, and Klay Thompson coming along as well. But Moses Brown, his double-double, his activity in the paint was well needed. Well needed, and it was a victory that was well needed for the Mavericks as well. So they got the Bucks coming into town Saturday at the AAC. 7:00 game. Like I said, we're going to stay indoors. We need to be staying inside. So we'll stream that game for sure from the crib. I don't know what's going to be up with PJ, because if PJ don't go, man, it's going to be hard. It was already going to be hard and difficult as hell to battle against the Bucks Saturday, but no PJ, that's just cutting into your size right there. And you saw who had to play the 4. Najee Marshall had to play the 4, and it seemed like he was a little uncomfortable at it, but at the same time, he still tried to do something. Now, switching over to these Cowboys, Brian Schottenheimer live at the Combine.
How's everybody doing? Good.
There was a report earlier that said that the Cowboys were very close to finalizing a deal with Osa. Can you provide us with a status update on that?
Yeah, I think, there's a lot of ongoing conversations. Obviously, Osa.
And word came out, Mike Fisher broke it, but word came out that the Cowboys and Osa Odigizua, they're coming close in the contact of basically of getting something done, getting a deal done. So that's news to my ears. There's a lot of mixed emotion about that. People are saying, why, you got all these free agents now that they're trying to pay one, they're like, why are you paying him? Like, come on, you got to pick and choose your battles, man.
He's done a terrific job for us. He's a terrific young player. He does everything right. And as those communications keep going, it's never done till it's done, but he'd be a guy we'd love to have back.
I know you haven't had a lot of time to reflect here, but 1 month as a head coach for the first time in your career, how would you describe what this past 4 weeks have been like for you?
Really busy. You go to sleep at night, you have a pretty good plan of what the next day is going to bring, and you wake up and there's certainly things that you anticipated, but wake up in the middle of the night and you're like, okay, I got to do this. I didn't think about that. So even being in it, David, for 25 years, there's things that pop up that you're just kind of like, wow, I hadn't thought about that. So I'd say the other head coaches have been amazing. They've reached out to me. They've been awesome as sounding boards. But the staffing was probably the most difficult part, but also the most enjoyable part.
Brian, kind of circling back to Osa, but expanding upon that, and speaking with Will McClay, one of the things that he threw out there was that you guys have a ton of alignment between the front office down through you and through your staff. When it comes to free agency, Osa, Jordan Lewis, DeMarcus Lawrence, can you just talk about your part of the process going forward and how that helps shape the roster as you wanted to?
Yeah, I think one of the positives of me coming on board was, again, knowing the people. So the communication from the very beginning was very seamless. I think not that we always agree on everything, but there's definitely alignment. And more importantly, we're able to have real conversations, hard conversations sometimes. And I think that helps you kind of, cut through some of the red tape, if you will. There's a lot of discussions that go on this week, which is interesting. But I love the process. I love the meetings with Steven and Jerry and Will, and just having sat through the interviews for the past couple of days. I think, Will and Mitch do a great job of setting the table for us.
This all coming off of DallasCowboys.com. The word has been out about Brian Schottenheimer. He does love the grind. He really loves the grind, and they talked about it on 105.3 The Fan, that there was a lot of tension going in, especially with Mike McCarthy going. And I told y'all, Mike McCarthy having no insurance to me seemed like he threw this season, bro. Where there was a lot of tension, where it just seemed like he didn't want to work hard. And that's a sensitive subject coming around here in the DFW about somebody not wanting to work hard and all that type of stuff. But that was really the word, like. And how many times we said, or how many times did they say during the Cowboys season about their preparation could have been better? And I'm telling you, going to those last two open camp practices, bro, they had down here before in the summer camp before they broke out to the season, they did not do nothing.
Back to the staff. Has it hit you yet that, I got to run this thing now?
It comes and goes. Usually I'm so busy. It pops up at different times, but I'm ready for it. Always have been. Way more ready for it now than I was probably when I was 32 and had some opportunities. But I think the biggest thing for me would be it's way more clear to me now what I want to do, how I want to do it with, a special culture about winning, about doing it with the right type of people.
Get back to the staff. And certainly usually coaches, when they think they're getting a job, they have a mindset of who they want to be on their staff. They got to have that, card in their pocket. How did this come together? You got a lot of mix of young guys, old guys, college guys. How did that come together? And what was the philosophy behind it?
It's a great question, Clarence. I think, this is something that I've done for a long time, which means spend the off season, the summer. My wife gets mad at me, but tracking coaches. I literally call guys in the business that I know and that I trust. And I'm like, hey, tell me somebody that maybe you think the world of, but that I've never heard of. Mm-hmm. And, it's such a close-knit fraternity that guys are happy to share good people with good people. I think there's 3 guys maybe that I've worked with before that weren't carryover guys.
The carryovers.
When you asked me initially how the staff was going to come together, did I think that would be the case? Probably not. But again, the guys that came in, I think we found great teachers. Mm-hmm. We found guys that were incredible people. And I have a real big belief in fundamentals. And so I think if you look at all the coaches that we've added, both young, old, the ability to train fundamentals and the developmental process of our players is critical.
Coach.
And one last thing, I know for a fact our players are going to feel the passion and energy of this staff. This staff is awesome, just in terms of the energy, the way they want to teach, the way they want to be on the grass. So I can't wait to see us get to work here in a couple months.
Which I will have to say, the one part, the staff they have kind of have pieced together, especially with Clay Helton. I think Clayton has been one that you're really looking forward to see. So I can see what he's talking about, but I think what Schottenheimer is going to bring more than anything is the grind to want to, go out there and be the best. I just think for the last few years under Mike McCarthy, bro, they just loafed. That's why when it came down to physical moments and the biggest pressures, they couldn't do nothing. They folded easy. So, you get a whole coaching staff that got experience, but at the same time, young enough to relate to the players. Yeah, for sure.
Again, another guy I've been tracking for a while. You can't not see the guys he's developed, going back to Cooper Kupp and Puka Nacua. Again, it takes time. It takes a lot of time to do research into these guys. And he's a guy that's come highly recommended, I would say, for the last couple of years. And then when you get in the room with a guy, you see his infectious personality and his ability to teach the particulars of, releases, top of the routes. What I love about Junior, he's able to take a very complicated position and make it simple for the players, which allows those guys to do what? Play fast. And he's going to do a great job, and I'm excited for him. But I know he's really excited about the opportunity to break into the league.
Brian, to the
with run-heavy offenses going back to the Jets or run-oriented offenses, how do you see that applying?
Jets offense, but they had Mark Sanchez at quarterback. Remember that.
Whether or not you guys take
They went to a championship game. They ran.
I think offensively you try to build it, based on what your guys do well. I got in trouble for letting Russ cook a little bit back in Seattle. But some people got the joke, some people didn't. But no, I mean, again, at the end of the day, you have to be able to run the football. I think we've made a commitment that we want to be great on both sides of the line of scrimmage. That's a huge part of it. The way I say it is when teams know that you're going to run the ball, you have to be able to run the ball and conversely stop the run. But again, depending on how the roster is built and how it's constructed, we want to, be able to feature our guys and what they do well. And we want to be multiple. One of the main reasons Matt Eberflus here is, again, the ability to take the football away. That's a big mantra when you talk about, what we want to be is we want to win the turnover battle. We want to own both sides of the line of scrimmage. We want to attack with our playmakers. And then at the end of the day.
But you kept hearing him emphasize,
we want to be a team that plays incredibly hard for one another.
Brian, going back to the
on Genty, yeah. Again, just early in the process, seeing a lot of his highlights late at night from the West Coast.
Going back to the balance of your coaching staff, obviously this is your first NFL combine as a head coach, and you have some, first-time NFL coaches like Connor Riley, but you have those who are experienced as well, Matt Eberflus and some of his staff. What's the process been as far as the acclimation of all of that at this NFL combine?
Well, it's been long days, honestly. We really brought the whole staff up here. We've been doing a lot of football in the morning. Guys get pulled away to do interviews and things like that. But what's been really cool is watching the experienced coaches lean into the younger coaches. And we've actually, even in some of the interviews, we've had some of the quality control guys do some of the interviews. And why would you do that? Well, you do it to develop your younger guys. And so to watch a J.J. Clark, to watch a Ramon Chin-Young go through the interview process and taking these guys through the process, it's great for us as coaches to evaluate them, but also for Will and Mitch and Chris Vaughn to see those guys in that role, because at some point when we win games and guys begin to move on, those are the guys that we're going to be, promoting from within.
Coach, earlier in the week, Pete Carroll was pretty effusive in his praise for you. What does it mean to receive?
Might lose coaches, but you got some guys
incredible. Pete, was so good to me. 2017, I was coaching the quarterbacks in Indianapolis, and my phone rang, and I actually had Pete's number in my phone from 2001 when I left USC. Pete came in and did not have an opportunity for me to stay there. And I saw it and looked at it, and from the moment I went there, Pete's been incredibly impactful to me. And what do I mean by that? I mean the way he looks at the game, the way he wants people to let their own personalities shine and not kind of put people into a box per se. I think that's one of his greatest strengths, even at his age, his energy, his juice, his passion. Again, it was a hard breakup. It really was. I laugh about the let Russ cook thing. Pete and I truly just agreed to disagree. We set franchise record for most points scored, and we just kind of saw it going different directions. But the guy's a Hall of Fame coach. I mean, to do what he did at USC, to do what he did, at Seattle, and, what he'll do in Las Vegas. And very powerful for me, because here's a guy that talked a lot about when he left, I think it was the Jets, New England, I can't remember, but he took a year off. He literally got a notebook out and he wrote down everything that he believed in. And he challenged me on that from the first day I was there. He said, Schotty, he goes, in a lot of ways, you're a football savant. You've been around the game your whole life. There's things that you've learned along the way that you don't even know you've learned, but what do you really believe in? And I thought that was really, really cool. And he didn't have to do that. Yeah, amazing coach that I truly probably of all the coaches, including my father, he's the guy I probably model myself the most after.
Brian, you've walked around here.
So basically, like he's saying, he let Russ cook, but then again, he won despite having Mark Sanchez as his quarterback and had a lot of wildcat that went on along with that. So there's a lot of things that can say about this. If he has this eye with Dak and he's gonna have to try to make it work. But if he leans too run heavy, he don't trust Dak. But if he believes in Dak, if he thinks he can operate what they're trying to do, then he'll like he did Russ, he'll let him cook. So we want balance. That's what the Cowboys are just looking for. You just got to have some balance. But you do have to run the ball way much more better and be a little bit more committed to it just so you can help your passing game and your defense as well.
Combines in the past, maybe you could go unnoticed at times by fans and media and things. This week, what has that been like? Have you noticed more people knowing who you are and where you are and where you're going, what you're doing?
Actually, Todd, I haven't gotten out much, to be honest with you. It's been nonstop. There's a lot of work to be done. Again, other than a few autograph seekers, it's been pretty normal. But I would say literally so proud of the staff. I mean, like literally it feels like we're in season a little bit right now in terms of the hours. We're putting in an offensive system, right? Making some adjustments with Clayton and the new guys coming on. Flus has, again, been incredible in terms of what he's trying to do with the new pieces and the new coaches, Aaron Whitecott and guys like that. So I haven't had a whole lot of time. And then, again, this is the time of year where coaches kind of get caught up, if you will, on the whole player acquisition part of it. You're kind of, okay, all right, these are the free agents. Okay, the draft, like we just talked about Genty. Like, I know who he is, but again, have I studied him? No. We just got the staff done 10 days ago, and then you dive into the playbook and all.
I don't think you have to say that, but I get it.
All that. And so it's been a lot of long hours, and I really haven't had time to
you should be
say
looking
what
at
feels
something,
different.
but
Brian, what home and
I mean, at the same time, you don't know who's your whole roster that you got to be making moves. So, yeah, you got to probably be focused on what you want to really do. But at the same time, you do have to adjust with what you got.
A lot of that stuff. Why was it important to bring them here?
I think we learned a couple of years ago with Mike when I took over as the coordinator that when you stay back and some guys go, things get lost. And so it's just better to move the whole shop. And again, kudos to Jerry and Steven and being willing to do it. And it's certainly expensive to do it, but you bring everybody up here, and we all got in here on Sunday, and Monday morning was no different than working out of the Star. And we just worked most of the day on football, and we got pulled away to formals. And otherwise, what happens is a guy gets caught on a flight and he's flying and he misses something, and just the attention to detail is not the same. I think we learned that a couple of years ago with what we tried to do with Mike.
Brian, would you mention real quick? Would you mention
everybody tried to get the question?
Is there anything though that he did recently? The grades came out from the NFLPA, and he's gotten A's the last 2 years. So obviously the players like things that he's done. Is there anything that he's done that you plan on trying to continue?
Oh yeah, ton of things. Mike's an incredible coach. I'll put my fingerprint on it for sure, but Mike's an awesome coach. Mike and Jerry had a lot of hard conversations and ended up not working out, but I will never talk about Mike McCarthy in any way but hold him in the highest regard. He's one of my best friends in football. An amazing coach, an amazing mentor to me.
But
he'll be back on the sidelines before too long.
Brian, you're a play caller. What are you looking for from your relationship with Clayton, and what do you need from him as the offensive coordinator?
I think it's kind of cool because it's a little bit what I was doing for Mike. Clayton's going to be very impactful for me in putting together the game plan. I think as the head coach, you always think you're going to be able to be in all the different meetings and things like that. And I'll be in most of them, but you're going to get pulled away. There's going to be things that come about that you're like, okay, wasn't in there for that. This guy is just incredible in terms of his foundation of teaching fundamentals. And he's been a kind of a fast riser, if you will. I remember meeting him a couple of years ago. He's coaching the tight ends here in Indy, and just walking away from the conversation before a game and being like, okay, that guy's different. And then to see the success he had in Arizona, He's a guy that I've kind of been tracking and saying, hey, if ever given the opportunity to be a head coach and being the play caller, a guy like this would complement me in some areas that I quite honestly need to be complimented. And I'll be good for him because I did this for the last 2 years with Mike. And so I think we'll work very, very well together.
We've talked a lot about the running game, and certainly you talked earlier about Genty. What does a Schottenheimer running, what does a running back look like in your system? Do you have you look for a zone runner in your offensive line? What does a running back and an offensive lineman look like a Brian Schottenheimer system?
Running backs first. You want a guy that's got vision. You want a guy that has contact balance. The fronts that we're seeing, the fronts that we're facing require guys to be able to make hidden yards, whether there's a free safety in the hole or there's a linebacker or a defensive lineman coming off at the point of attack. You got to have a guy that's willing to run through arm tackles. I do believe that you have to have the ability to catch the ball coming out of the backfield. Why do I say that? If a team wants to commit to stopping the run, there's ways that they can try to do that.
So you got to be multi-purpose.
And we don't want that to take an elite runner or a position like that out of the game. So if a team's doing a nice job stopping the running game, you want to be able to get them involved, throwing it to them. And that doesn't mean they have to play like a receiver, but they have to be able to run routes coming out of the backfield and have the ability to separate and run after the catch is important. Offensive lines, it's different. It's based on whether you're talking about the interior guys, centers, guards are a little bit different. Tackles are a little bit different. But the thing that I'm interested in watching is the development of a couple of the second-year players. You watch Cooper Beebe, Tyler Guyton, those guys. Tyler Guyton's been in the weight room every day. He's working his ass off.
Second-year guys.
To me, that's really exciting.
That he's been around to actually mold and be a part of, especially
the influence
the draft
of Connor
process.
Riley. I think that package was so important for us, and I think we hit a home run.
Could you move Cooper back to guard? Is that on the table?
Yeah, I mean, we'll see it. We're always going to play the best five.
So it looks like, with Schottenheimer, do we see the moves that Cowboy fans been wanting to make? A lot of us been saying, why don't you move Tyler Guyton to Tyler Smith to tackle? But as you see, they love Tyler Guyton. They love Tyler Guyton. There ain't going to be no moving him. And a lot of them feel with Brian Schottenheimer and then Clayton, you got them coming in there being more strong on the run game. They feel Terrence Steele is going to actually benefit with them wanting to be more aggressive in running the football. So
it'd be hard to move a guy that
I can see
had
them,
that much experience playing center this year.
Right now, if they don't get a receiver or a running back, I can easily see them getting a defensive lineman or a defensive player, probably a defensive lineman
level. But anything's on the table. They trying to playing the best five.
Brian, as head coach, it's not your job to negotiate these contracts, but obviously you'll have a very big role in what the roster looks like and having those conversations with the front office. When they come to you and say, "Hey, Micah is eligible for an extension," how do you see what he brings to the team, and what do you want? What do you say, and how do you view him as a part of the team?
Yeah, I talk about what an elite player Micah is. The benefit we have from practicing against him every day is we see the problems that he creates. Special player. And I think that the conversations that Jerry, Steven, Will, and I have had along with the staff have been so open and honest. And that's what gets me excited. It really does. It gets me excited because there's alignment. There's a vision of what we're trying to do, doing it with the right people. Again, we talked about Osa earlier. Mike is an elite young football player that has barely scratched the surface. And so I think the best thing for me is how comfortable we all are at having those conversations about Micah, J. Lou, the direction we want to go from the offensive line to the defensive line. It's not just one position, it's really all of them.
In those honest conversations, do you talk about the timeline with CD missing training camp last year and several others in recent franchise history? Do you talk to them about the value of getting those deals done sooner?
Yeah, I think they understand that. But again,
they better.
The business of the
everybody think and hope they understand that, but bro, leave it to the Joneses.
The NFL has become so big, and again, it's a two-way street. There's negotiations, and sometimes those negotiations take time.
And a lot of that has to do with the market as well. And they're trying to pin it to say they still could have signed CD Lamb or Dak, but everybody was still trying to get paid. So they just really had to figure out what was going there. So that's probably why the wait waited that long. But damn, to wait up into the 11th hour, I ain't buying that timeout, bro.
But it's our job to focus on the guys that are there. And again, it's part of the game. It's part of the business.
Brian, you mentioned alignment. Is there a desire from you and the alignment that you do have with the front office to be able to go out and add talent through free agency? Steven talked about being selectively aggressive. What's your take on free agency?
Yeah, I think, as you look at it, you always want to look at your own roster first, so who can we bring back? Who are the guys that we feel like are cornerstones of what we're trying to get done?
And
I believe in this, Nick. I think that there's talent acquisition, which is adding players, okay, whether they're internal, external, whatever that is, but there's also talent development. And I think that's where we're focused on right now as a staff is, okay, not just guys that are free agents that we want back, but let's take a Tyler Guyton, for example. Let's take a Deron Bland, for example. And what is the plan for them that we came up with as coaches to help them get a little bit better? Jake Ferguson a couple of years ago, Luna Wells had an incredible plan for him. And so Ferg had an incredible second year.
Yeah.
So that's
but he had a
terrible
year last year.
Okay. Each guy,
as
and
well
as
many more
these are the
Cowboys
three
do.
areas that we want to improve on. That's easy. You guys could look at it and say, hey, these are the three areas that we need to improve on player X, but it's the plan of action that makes the difference. Okay. Well, how do you improve a guy's change of direction, or how do you improve a guy's ability to get off blocks and separate or tackle? And so those are the things that we're currently trying to do along with the playbook to develop our guys in-house.
So he's kind of sounding like Jerry and them at the same time too. We like our guys. Was that not Jerry? Was that not Steven saying last year, as much as they was hurting, they didn't make no offseason moves, was because of what? They like their guys. Sounds like Schottenheimer's regurgitating the same thing right there.
Along with that, head coach in Chicago, has he given you any advice in terms of how to approach your first time as a head coach?
He's been great. He's been an incredible sounding board. Again, competed with him for a long time. Think the world of him. I think you see and you watch the way our defense is going to play, the way they're going to run to the football, the way they're going to tackle. Talked about a little bit the commitment to owning the line of scrimmage. I think that was just an incredible hire for us, and one, quite honestly, that a lot of people were trying to get him, and we were able to get him, which is great for me, not just as a coach, but as a man, kind of the same.
For a lot of these guys to take a shot with Schottenheimer, I think his last name ring bells, his pop's name ring bells for sure, because this is first time head coach. A lot of these guys could have did something else, something different, but you're rolling with a first time head coach. You know what I'm saying? And you got this staff that you did bring together.
Same stage of life. We're about to be empty nesters, my wife and I, and he is an empty nester. So we talk about that quite a bit as well.
In the initial phase of free agency last year, the club only added 2 players in that first stage.
After saying going all in,
you would add more this time around. Would you like to add more in that stage, just as you look at this roster and see where you are in the development of the players on the staff now?
Well, I think, again, that's a tough question. David, I can't answer that. It depends on what players you're talking about. Like I said, we're always going to start with our guys. We know that. Right?
Hey, bro, he's kind of sounding like Stephen Jones and Jerry, what they were saying. We like our guys. We like our guys.
History with them. We've developed those guys. We understand their strengths, their weaknesses, what they bring to the table from a culture standpoint. So, again, it all depends on how.
Sound like he was getting ready for the job the whole time coming around. That's why he probably wasn't doing too much of the play calling at that time. He sound like he was getting ready to be the head coach the whole time along.
Things go.
That's exactly how Jerry and Steven, all of them are talking the same language.
Very competitive business. It's a very competitive time of year. There's incredible dialogue going on all day, every day here in Indianapolis. I've learned that. And so I think that's the exciting part about this time of year is you really are competing with these other teams that want to come in and acquire your players. And we're going to make it very tough to let those guys leave.
Brian, you already had a relationship with Dak going into this role, but what kind of conversations have you guys had since you became the head coach, and what type of dialogue do you want to continue throughout the offseason?
Yeah, honestly, it's been more about life. He and I love one another. We care about one another, just like I do all the guys, CD, and excited to get to know more of the defensive guys. I think I've got a great relationship with a bunch of the guys on defense as well. I would say most of my day is spent walking the halls, and getting a feel for the players. Like I talked about, seeing Tyler Guyton down in the weight room, and bumping into Dono in the training room the other day. That's part of changing the culture, and that's part of letting these guys get to know me on a deeper level. But
that word is a sensitive trigger word in Dallas, culture.
Dak and I talk about being dads and fatherhood, and there's been a little bit of just fun talk about scheme, but at this time of year we're not focused on that. We're focused on other things, and his rehab being one of them. He's kicking ass. He's doing great, and special man.
Brian, real quick, it's expected that Zach Martin will retire this offseason. Can you just talk about him as a man, him as a player, and just how the challenge of the next man up coming up to fill those shoes or try to fill those shoes?
Yeah, I think
they're gonna want to look within.
Special person. I've only been around him for a couple years, but the way he works, the way that he puts his body on the line, the way he goes through the process from Monday through Saturday that people don't realize to go out there and perform at the level that he did. No question that if that does in fact happen, that he'll be in Canton here in the next couple of years. If I don't get an invitation, I'll be pissed. Hell, we might be playing in the game. You never know. But special man, incredible player, but a better person. Really is.
All right, we got to run.
Thank you, guys.
For sure. So we hear Brian Schottenheimer talking here at the combine as it's getting ready to go down. A lot of people, it's already going down and stuff like that. Need to kind of get some looks at what's going on there. But Brian Schottenheimer, I'm telling you, he's kind of spitting the same language. What I took away from that, he's speaking the same language what Jerry and Stephen Jones said last year, why they didn't go and get much help in the offseason, because they believe in their guys. They like their guys. They want to actually look within. So if that is the case, then look for basically Brian Schottenheimer saying, no, Osa, yes, keep him. Jordan Lewis, yes, keep him. Like, let's bring them along. You know what I'm saying? Let's keep them on deck, and let's keep that part of the culture there, as you say. But they're going to look within. No more Zach Martin. Okay, so do you move BP to his natural spot, and you brought his, coach that coached him at Kansas State? Do you do that? Are you cool with Brock Hoffman being at center is really the question that you're asking. If Brock Hoffman can play center, then yes, BB is going to right guard. Going to right guard, and he might as well. As he should. I think he should. I think it should go that way. And like I said, Tyron Smith was better in the run game. You're going to get a little bit more aggressive on the run, so that's going to help him out more. But I took away from that they speak in the same language. Same language. What's going down on X? Let me see what's going down on X. Rangers today, they got a shutout victory today. Talking about spring training, as they did get their third spring training victory, as they was sitting on a bash nod. But, yesterday they actually pulled through and did something. They got their second victory, 7-4 over the Guardians, and today over the Mariners, they got an 8-0 victory. Tyler Malley ended up taking the mound today, did his thing, gave shutout innings as the rest of the pitchers did as well. Sebastian Wilcox had got him a spring training home run going in there. Jake Berger ended up smashing something. So you looking at the new guys on the block with Jock Pedersen and Jake Berger getting in there. Hey, that lineup is going to be something as long as they can stay healthy, especially with Wyatt Johnson, who is still sitting out day to day. But I think he's going to be okay, as he's suffering, I believe, from the oblique. But you keep him, Evan Carter, and Josh Young healthy, and then you bring in the Jock Pedersen along with and you still got Kyle Higashki. I'm probably saying his name wrong, but you still got him in the mix. Stars, they're finally off that long road trip that they had coming off of the Four Nations break. They get ready to take action tomorrow against the LA Kings as they look to still stay pace. It's going to be hard for them to even, top out of the Central Division as the Jets is just not giving that up. But the Stars are still in position to make sure that they get high playoff seeding for home playoff ice coming in the NHL playoffs that's coming right around the corner. So look for a tough battle against the LA Kings tomorrow. FC Dallas will be in action Saturday. It actually is going to be a live lineup because tomorrow, like I said, Rangers Cubs at 2:00. Stars and Kings will play at 7 down here at the AAC. And then Saturday is going to be a full DFW day with Rangers and Bruins in spring league action. TCU men's basketball against Central Florida. SMU men's basketball goes against Stanford, trying to get 22 victories before going into the AAC tournament run. Of course, you got the Bucks in town to play against the Dallas Mavericks tomorrow at 7:30. And then it ends off at 8:30 with FC Dallas hosting the Colorado Rapids. So full day of DFW sports on Saturday. Sunday, you get SMU women's basketball to, carry over as well. It's more spring training with the Rangers. The Stars will basically, their games are coming back to back. They'll get the Blues and then the cream of the crop, the Lady Horned Frogs from TCU. They end the season in Big 12. Basically, this is to win the regular season Big 12. But basically, TCU goes on the road to Waco to play Baylor. See if they can hold it down and basically win the Big 12 outright before they get in the tournament time. So that's my little kickback that I got from y'all today. Like I said, Mavericks get a victory that was well needed today. They play 500 or better. They play 500 or better until they can get reinforcements. They're going to be all right. At least up to March 7th, they're going to be all right. 500 or better, they'll be okay. And because basically they'll still stay in the play-in, and any game that they got going in there, win healthy, I'm telling you, the Mavericks got a shot. 1 game or 7-game series. Mavericks got a shot. Real talk. X Factor 999, what's good? See you tuning in for a late night. Shout out to FC Dallas. I want to watch them more, but I'm definitely not getting any coverage in my neck of the woods. Yeah, man. I mean, you got to get that Apple TV. You got to subscribe to the Apple TV Plus to get them boys. You know what I'm saying? So it's like that, but I still keep up when a lot of their games is going on. It's just their games happen to be going on with everybody else. But, new change that's in there, new head coach that's in there. Quill is in there. You got new big-time acquisitions. They got Luciano up in there now. So, hey, FC Dallas started off undefeated, get the Texas Derby against Houston Dynamo. So now let's see what they do against the Colorado Rapids, see if they can keep fire going with them right there. And like I said, the Stars, they're still holding serve. It's just it's going to take basically a collapse for the Jets to give up the lead in the Central Division. I really don't see it happening, but I see the Stars still finishing strong. And we're basically a month under from when the Rangers opened up the season down here at Globe Life Field against the Boston Red Sox. So we're less than a month, man. DFW Sports keeps rolling, man, all the time. All the time. Dope to watch. And that's a game and a vlog I do not have on my itinerary is a FC Dallas game. So I need to get with it. I need to, get on the times. I need to take DFW Sports Road on to FC Dallas game for sure. For damn sure. But like I said, especially with the Mavericks, you look at the Mavericks, bro. They play 500 or better until at least March 7th. They'll be all right. Because really, that's going to be about their toughest stretch right here. So if they can at least be 500 or better, it's going to be hard. And you still got wiggle room to still be in the play-in. And you, like I said, you're 4.5 games from 4.5, 5.5 games away from Phoenix being, lapping you, so you got wiggle room right there. And at the same spot that you sitting at right now, you got a 1.5 game lead over Sacramento, and you're sitting at the 9th seed and only 1 game out of the 6th seed. So play 500 or better. Wait till the reinforcements get here. Mavericks gonna be all right, bro. They're gonna be all right. Stars are gonna make another playoff push. They're contending for another Western Conference Finals appearance. I done told y'all about the TCU Lady Women's Basketball Squad. I look for them to make a deep tournament run. Sweet 16 or better. I look for that. At minimum, Sweet 16. Minimum Sweet 16. And it looks like hopefully they can get them a number 1 seed coming out of the Big 12. But we'll see how that go. SMU men's basketball, they're just sitting right there on the fringe of the bubble. They just don't really have the quality wins that's sitting there right there. But they beat Stanford tomorrow, or they beat Stanford this weekend, and they get 22 victories. And if they can at least make a run in the ACC tournament, get 2 more victories, possibly 3 if they can get 24, 25 victories, that'll be hard. And especially, it'll be hard to keep them out of there. But if they can be one of them blue bloods in the ACC, then that should give them a stamp to the tournament to see what some things can happen. It's a lot of DFW sports going on, man. We got a lot of things going on. Of course, as long as, Luka's being Luka, then it's always going to be a watch. I see Minnesota trying to come back, but Lakers ain't having it. I'm just going over here to peep to see what my boy Luka doing. That's it. That is it. Let me look. Luka Doncic, 20 minutes, 13 points. Yes, he's a plus 11 right now. 13 points, 4 assists, 8 rebounds. LeBron James got 21. LeBron James can pick and choose his spot because LeBron can run it. I mean, Luka can run it, and then Austin Reeves got 11 points, but Luka he's gonna be able to slow play his way up into it, which that's fire. Mavs play 500 or better. They get healthy. They going to make noise in the playoffs. And they ain't got no choice but to. They still got to make this work. So I know they done had a lot of injuries, but injuries can't always be the excuse. This is really the matter of the fact. Yeah, y'all done ran y'all mouth so much it don't matter. Y'all going to have to show and prove. And it sucks because the players are stuck in the middle of it. Now Golden State ended up jumping up pretty good. Bruh, it's a jumble stretch right there. But Mavericks gonna be straight. Cowboys, the more and more vibes I'm getting, as you see, I don't think Brian Schottenheimer, he wants free agents to come in here, but he has a 4-year deal. So it's one of those where he wants to see what he has first. Maybe try to save some money, but basically get all your star players taken care of. Get the Osa signed. Get the Jordan Lewis signed. Get Michael Parsons extended. I think he's down with that and working with what they got, and then let it fall where it may. After the draft, then we can assess what we really need to do. I think Schottenheimer is a hands-on process type of guy. Throwback about the process. So look for them to break that down. But I'm telling you, I'll be surprised to see them pass on Ashton Genty. And the only thing that they could pass on Ashton Genty would be a defense alignment that they thoroughly believe in. Because I wouldn't be surprised they go get them a defense alignment with their first pick. That's just me. I wouldn't be surprised. But if you had to put some money on it, if Genty is there at 12, Cowboys take him. Stars, let's roll tomorrow, man. Let's go ahead and beat the Kings, and let's keep momentum going and getting ready for the postseason. Like I said, sooner or later, I'll be showing up here at a Stars games as the weather is starting to get better. So we'll start catching one of them. Like I said, Rangers, y'all keep making some offense happen. Pitchers, stay healthy. Let's do some things. So I had to give y'all another quick live as we did 2 of them today. Let's see what we do. We might not do nothing Friday. Household still kind of a little sick. So we probably won't do nothing tomorrow, but Saturday, get at me as the Mavs and Bucks will do action down here at the AAC. So let's see if we get us another stream going in there and getting us another post game. So I'm logging out, man. Make sure you like, subscribe, hit that notification chime for your boy one time. We go up on DFW Sports at all times. For all the people that's catching this back on the playback, man, go ahead and hit that like button and drop the comment what you thought about a lot of the topics going on in the land of DFW and the issue that's going on in the sports town. So till then, man, do everything with love because love always wins. That's the law. I holla, y'all.
Self-made independent hoe, I'm all about my businesses. I consistently continue to bring energy and know that keep it popping like I'm full of electricity. Try to hold me out, I wish you would have the audacity. Take a reflexive, now I'm shitting on the industry. Self-made not a title cause it's my identity, and wear it on my skin like it's a part of my ethnicity. Mary keep on blowing like instruments in the symphony. They keep a player buzzing like Twitter when you mention me. Being 100's a everyday living tendency, and ain't faced by hating, it makes me increase my intensity.